Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the stream. I'm your host, Tatiana, aka E Dirty Tati. Welcome back to GT Champions World Cup, sponsored by Detailing Group, brought to you by Metropolis, Digit Gaming, Pride at the Dragon, High Pre, Red, White, and Blue Racing. We've been through this. RWB Racing. We go through this every stream, but I gotta tell you, all of our sponsors are awesome. Honestly, go check them out. Go to our website, gtchampions.com. There's a little about section for every single one of them, and I'm sure you'll find some of what we do fascinating. What are we doing today? We're on round 8. Round 8, y'all, at Watkins, Glen. It's last 3 rounds. We've had quite a season so far. Last week, we were at Trial Mountain, one of the original Gran Turismo tracks. We love this track. We missed it in Gran Turismo Sports, so of course it was a treat to bring it back in GT7 and to bring it in GT Champions. We now have flown back stateside to upstate New York to historic Watkins Glen racetrack. Watkins Glen is pretty awesome. I'll be honest, I didn't know much about it. It's 3.5 miles. I'd never been on it. I know we have a very famous race there called the 6 Hours of the Glen during the IMSA season. But it's a great track. 11 turns, asphalt track. We are in it on the Ford GT, which is perfect. American track, iconic American car, named after an iconic American car, but in and of itself, this particular car, the Ford GT, is also an icon. It came out in 2018, I believe. Yes, came in for IMSA and Le Mans Racing. It came to dominate. It did, and then it left. 3.5 liter turbo V6 making 527 horsepower, 451 pounds-feet of torque. It weighs about 2,600 pounds, and it's a fantastic car, both in the game and out. Whew. Let's see. Is everybody in the lobby? Not everybody's here. You got about 11 players, but they've got time to come in. We got about 5 minutes before the race starts, of course. So let's talk about our grid. Starting in pole position, we've got Tommy Moon, followed by Buck Wild, Wooly, HPR 82, Little Mac in 5th place, Venom, Rusty Maggots, The Truth, Tattooed Freak, TCU Frogs, Apex Roses in 11th place, Turbo and Knudsen 84 in 13th place to start this race here. Again, we're in the Ford GT GR3 car. Drivers will have 2 sets of tires to use, 1 set of racing softs and 1 set of racing mediums. They must use each set. Tire wear in the lobby is set to 1X. Which shouldn't be too bad at this track, I don't think. We'll see. We've got some sweepers in this track, but the design is pretty well, so it's pretty good that you have them in both directions. So we'll see. Fuel is set to 2x consumption, which might be a little tough in the Ford GT. I haven't driven it. It is known as the EcoBoost engine, the engine that was first used in the Ford DP, the Daytona prototypes, actually, if you wanted to know a little bit of lore about that particular racing engine. Let's see, the pit window is from minute 50 to 40. When you see the clock on the bottom left of the screen hit minute 40, that means people can pit in and take fuel and take tires. They may pit outside of this window for damage, but they may not pit for fuel or tires. Otherwise, they'll eat a very big penalty, and nobody wants that, of course. Last week, who was on our podium at Trial Mountain? We had Roses in 1st place, followed by Frogs in 2nd, and Tattooed Freak in 3rd. Frogs and Tattooed had a fantastic battle. Roses had a great race coming in from the back. The full race results are as follows. Races, Frogs, and Roses, not races. Roses, races. Roses, Frogs, Tattooed Freak, The Truth, Rusty Maggots, Venom, Little Mac, HPR, Carbon Boy, Willie, Buck Wild, and Tommy Moon all competed. And with that, our standings have moved around. We also had a drop round, so lots of moves in the standings. I think the biggest jumps that I see are Tattooed Freak goes up 3 spots up into 8th place there. Knudsen falls down 4 spots into 4th. Our top 3 isn't really surprising. Roses and HPR have been swapping back and forth. They're still within just a few points of one another, and then Rusty Maggots in 3rd place behind them. Man, with that, we only have three races left, y'all. Just today, the Glen. Next weekend, we'll be at High Speed Ring, another OG Gran Turismo track. I love how we've had such a mix of, like, the old tracks that we love, newer tracks, and, like, staple tracks. High Speed Ring, of course, is a very fun place to race. And then our very last round will be at Fuji Mountain in a Super GT car, which is, of course, perfect. It makes all the sense in the world. I think I have time before the race starts here to do our lap guide. So I'm going to go ahead and play that for you. We're in the Ford GT, of course, at the Glen, as we said already. And this is a guide made by Black Flag Racing, our D3 lobby host, Urban Pirate, actually, got this made for us. And I'm waiting for it to start. It doesn't seem to want to... You going to start? You got to start, bud? And to talk about the lap. There we go. There we go. It's got it figured out. All right, 11 turns around Watkins Glen. Not all of them have corner names. Of course, you have some fun ones like the heel, the toe. It's all part of the boot. PM10 Racing made this lap guide for us. It's a 1:42.2, which is a pretty quick lap as he heads towards turn 1 here. Kind of hard on the brakes, a little bit of a late apex, if you will. It does open out pretty wide here. You don't want to get too far on that curbing, but as you can see, you can use a whole lot of it. All of turn 2, 3, and 4. This is turn 3 here and 4. All that is full throttle. You maximum attack as you climb the hill towards the back straight here. Then towards the left-hand side, you're going to look for a little stewarding stand right there. Then you tap on the brakes for the chicane. It's very quick. 3rd gear at the least, and then down to the what is the name of this corner? The outer loop, sorry. Outer loop corner, you don't want to get on the throttle too soon, but you can get on it very, very soon. And then the chute is a very fun corner. I really enjoy that corner. The next corner is even more fun. The toe, turn 7. Now, this one's tricky because you got gravity to help you with your braking, but gravity also hurts you because it causes understeer. So you got to figure out the right mix of braking and using gravity to help you brake and still getting around the corner. Here on this back straight, aka the boot, you get hard on the brakes soon for the heel. It opens up quicker than you think though, so you can open up that wheel a little bit sooner than you would expect. And down into turn 9, another hairpin, no name, 2nd gear just to get the car slowed down, but then 3rd gear to get out of it. You want all the traction in the world, or all the traction you can get. Otherwise, you will spin it. Next turn here, turn 10, light on the brakes or even just a lift to get through that. And then another light stab of the brakes for turn 11, the final turn of this very, very fast lap around Watkins Glen. There you are. That was a fantastic lap. Thank you again for this guide. Love it. I look forward to having more of these for the rest of the season and, of course, next season as well. Let's see. Why don't we get on track? I just been asked how I'm doing. I'm going to say I am good, and I'm watching y'all because that's exactly what we're going to do. In fact, I'm not going to lie, y'all. I am starving, so I might use this opportunity to take 2 bites of this food in front of me so that I can get through these 90 minutes. I need my strength. I know I'm not racing, but I need my strength as well, okay? Let's get on track. Let's see what these guys are doing. I'm probably going to pop off camera so you can't see me doing this. Let's get some audio. Of course, everybody wants to hear engines because engines. Ooh, HPR with a bad crash there. That's not what you want. Full damage, of course, in these lobbies. So what that means is that if you mess up, you hit the wall like that, you're going to have to pit to fix the car, more than likely. Anyone actually driving? Knudsen is actually driving. Love to see it. My video looks pretty choppy here, and I don't like it, but I don't know that there's anything I can do about it right this second, and I apologize to everyone for it. Knudsen's car has some sort of like lighting going on back there. Do all of them have this? Is it like for Le Mans? Because, you know, for Le Mans, other 24-hour races like Daytona, of course, you have, you know, different color lights to identify your car, and this car has that. I love it. That is fantastic. Man, I wish I could fix its choppiness, but I'm not going to be able to fix it without restarting my computer, which stops the stream. So this is kind of what we've got. Let's watch Rusty Maggots get around, and if you want, because it's nighttime, we can go on board with Rusty. He's on the back straight now, headed towards that chicane that we talked about earlier. If you want an in-car view of what's going on here with these cars. What am I hearing? Oh, I'm seeing rather people on chat talk. Uh-oh. Oh, he's not understeering, it's just the choppiness. I don't like this. I don't think I have time to reboot my whole system though and get back in the lobby and do all of it, or and get it back to recording before the race starts, so I'm not gonna risk it. Not gonna risk it. Ready checks are going out right now, so I imagine we'll be starting the race any minute now. I think we're just waiting to hear yes, ready from a couple more drivers, and then we'll be underway. Here we are, lined up on the grid. Let's go ahead and get this started. Well, it's a formation lap first. I always like see them all lined up, and I'm super excited. I'm like, oh yeah, and then I forget there's a formation lap. So there will not be any drama just yet. Just people trying to get in their right positions on the track, of course, and trying to make their way through. This choppiness it's so bad. I wonder if it's me or the lobby. Who are we following? Rusty Maggots, as he follows through safely, of course. We've had a lot of talks about these what are these called? Formation laps during the season. We've had issues before with people getting damaged in the laps, you know, folks not noticing that people are braking ahead or slowing down, and there's an accordion effect, which is, of course, what's the word I'm looking for? Exacerbated. Thank you. Exacerbated by the fact that there are often lag issues in these lobbies. But so far, Rusty keeping it clean and keeping it close. Y'all, we may have to risk the reboot because I don't know that I want you all to have to watch the race like this. I feel like it would be distracting. Some weaving happening as we get towards the end of the lap. We're in the chute now, coming towards the toe of the boot. We're with Turbo. Just behind him is Knudsen. Just a reminder of the grid order here. Where do I have it? There it is. Got Buckwild up front, or sorry, Tommy Moon should be up front, but I don't see him. Then Buckwild, who I also don't see. Then Wooly. So Wooly's here. HPR is here, followed by Little Mac, Venom. No Truth Serum. Rusty Maggots is next, actually. Truth is after Rusty. Then no Tattoo Freak. No Freak so far, unless he's coming up still. Followed by TCU Frogs. He's got Roses behind him, and then Turbo, and then Knudsen. I guess we don't have Tattoo Freak in the lobby with us today. We are missing. So we're missing quite a few drivers, but still a good race. 10 people on track. And here's Wooly slowing everyone down because they're coming up on the last corner now, and soon we'll be starting the race. However, I can't change camera angle to see that, so we're going to do this real quick. And there we are, the start of the race. Little Mac and HPR side by side. Wooly obviously got a great jump, but Little Mac and HPR behind him through turn one there. This is going to look fantastic racing in the night. All the cars single file now as they head up the hill towards the back straight there, just in a train. A little bit of overlap between the Truth and Venom, but everyone's going to play nice here. Venom got a great run, must have got a fantastic run out of turn one, but the Truth able to hold on to it and brakes a little bit early to make sure that he doesn't hit Little Mac in front of him. Let's make sure that we can see everything on display, or everything you guys are allowed to see, and I'm gonna get out of here so you don't have to look at me, even though I'm cute. What's going on behind these guys? Venom holding up Rusty Maggots and TCU Frogs, who are side by side in the chute. Frogs gets ahead of Rusty here, stays ahead of him as they head towards the toe. This is a fun corner to go at it with. In fact, Rose is side by side with Turbo already. Rose is looking to move up in the standings of this race. They're going to go down this short back straight here, the boot, and then hard on the brakes for the heel, which again, fun corner to go side by side. You can be you can give room, you can be a little cheeky, of course, and squeeze someone, but obviously everyone here are going to be racing in good faith. And we've had very few incidents that I've seen in the last few races in D2. So fantastic driving, lots of respect between these drivers. As you can see so far, lap one going amazingly. Wooly and the Truth still side by side coming through the last turn. And the Truth actually gets ahead of Wooly. And I said not still, Wooly was ahead of everyone. HPR has taken first place from Wooly, and the Truth has now taken second from Wooly. So Wooly falling down the order from first. Frogs still behind him in fourth. Rusty, we have any other drama going on there? No, but HPR's jump on Wooly is huge. It's a fantastic gap that he's already got out. 1.3 seconds as he enters the chicane on lap 2. So, lap 3, lap 2. We'll call it lap 3 because it says lap 3 on the top left. But, you know, the first lap was, of course, a formation lap. But HPR way ahead of everyone. Even the Truth has now left Wooly behind. So, Wooly's struggling with pace. I don't know if maybe he's saving fuel, trying to save those tires, but Wooly is now holding up a line behind him. He lost first place, lost second place. Now he's got TCU Frogs all over the back of him. Frogs going to be looking for a way to get past. And it's not that easy to pass here outside of diving into corners. So TCU Frogs is going to want to keep a little bit of distance, at least, to maybe make something like that happen. But interesting start to the race for Wooly. Are technically our pole sitter, because the first 2 people on course or on the grid are not here today. Watch Frogs behind Wooly into turn 1. He doesn't look to be making a move, so nothing doing there. Back behind them, though, we've got some drama already. Turbo in 8th place. He's got up there pretty well, but he's got half a second. And Roses is in the pits. He must have taken damage. Roses and Turbo were going at it, so whatever happened, it took Roses out. So he's now got an even tougher race ahead of him. We've seen him come from the back before in bigger grids than this. In fact, last week he did exactly that to win the race, but we have not seen him have to do so from the back after taking damage. And he comes out. Is he on intermediate tires? He is. I mean, you guys aren't supposed to know that, but Roses took the wrong tires, so he's going to have to pit again. Intermediates are needed if the weather says that they're needed, but I don't see any rain falling. Unless I'm missing something, maybe some graphical glitch not showing it to me. I wish... Ooh, who's that side by side? Is that Maggots and Venom? Who's that with the penalty? That is Frogs with penalty, and he's going to have to take it right now. So Frogs falls down from second place, where he was behind HPR, or third, I think. Or sorry, no, he was following Wooly, but he now falls down into 7th place, unfortunately. So changes in position already happening early on in the race here in the dark. Those headlights shining our way. Some yellow lights on Frog's car, keeping it traditional. Yellow headlights are typically for GT cars when you have multi-class endurance racing, such as at Le Mans. You have prototypes, 2 classes of prototypes, I believe, now, or is it 3? I think it's just 2 classes of prototypes, and then your GT classes, the GT cars are in yellow headlights. The prototypes are in white, and that is so that the drivers can easily see what kind of car is coming up behind them, right? So you can tell, hey, this is going to be a prototype, and let me go ahead and get out of the way quickly. They're going to have such and such amount of speed on me. Or it's a GT car. I can chill for a little bit, assuming it's not like a pro car versus an AM car. And even then, your speeds are going to be similar. It's just going to be a matter of how good you are in the corner. But Wooly and Rusty looking to get that position from Wooly. The Truth and HPR are out of there. The Truth almost 4 seconds on Wooly. HPR 3.5 seconds on the Truth himself. So time there. Roses pitting out after changing out of those intermediate tires. Now this is going to be incredibly rough for him, because having to pit twice in a row like that obviously isn't helpful. He was already going to be on the back foot, having to pit 1 lap earlier, and now he's coming out having pitted twice. He's already almost a minute behind. Now the lap here is pretty quick. It's a very fast track, and he's got nothing but clean air in front of him, so he's gonna have to put together some really quick laps here. But that comes down to, will he be able to save fuel? Will he be able to save the tires? What's it gonna look like by the end of the stint? He'll have a chance, obviously, at the end of this stint to make up time and possibly even positions in the pits, but right now, Roses is not going to be able to climb up the order quickly like he usually tries to do. Looking at everybody else, do we have Drama? No, but the truth has eked out another several tenths over Wooly, who's managing to hold everyone else up pretty well. So he's not getting passed, sitting there in third place. And it's been a while, but he's had somebody on his bumper pretty much the entire time. First, it was, of course, Frogs, but Frogs had that penalty, which we saw. And now it's Rusty. Rusty dives to have the inside for the chicane, but is he going to be able to have it? Yeah, Wooly breaks early just to let him have it. Wooly's not trying to get into it with him into the chicane this early into the race. I agree. I'd rather give up the position as well. I'm lying. I wouldn't. I would have definitely tried to keep that, but Wooly is smarter than me, probably, and he survives. Look at this. Frogs trying to make up time from picking up that penalty. He's trying to get around Venom. He does get around Venom, so now Frogs back up into 6th place after falling into 7th, and he's looking to get around Knudsen here. He doesn't really quite have it done versus Venom, and I think they just touched. I wish I could replay, but it looked like they just touched a little bit in the chute there, and I think that is exactly what happened, because now Venom's a second, more than a second, 1.3 seconds ahead of them, whereas Frogs was pretty much on his bumper going into the corner. So yeah, a touch between Frogs and Venom. I don't see any damage on their cars, so pretty lucky there, but they better be careful. Could have spun easily getting into it like that. Here's Roses, 48 seconds back from Little Mac. We're going to watch and see how that gap comes down, if it comes down, if he just ends up maintaining. What he ends up doing here will obviously affect his second stint and what he ends up doing there. HPR out of here, 3.5 seconds. So HPR looking to run away in this first stint and hope that no one catches up to him, which so far they shouldn't. The truth, 5.8 seconds ahead of Rusty Magnets, because something must have happened to Wooly. Where is he? Wooly's in 9th place. I don't see any damage on his car, but he was hanging on to Rusty. He did give that position, gave Rusty 3rd, and should have just been sitting in 4th. But what we see now is not only is he not in 4th, there's a huge gap to Knudsen behind Rusty. It's 2.8 seconds. So whatever happened to Wooly must have affected everyone behind him, because these guys were bumper to bumper in a line behind the bottleneck that was Wooly. And now Wooly, not out of the race, I wouldn't say. Let me see where he's at. There's Frogs in 8th. Wooly 3.5 seconds behind Frogs. So it's kind of, yeah, he's kind of on his own. Roses is 42 seconds behind him. That's the new gap. So 42.5 between Roses and Wooly. And already lap 7, and we've had enough incidents to create a ton of separation between 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. The mid-pack not looking that much closer, though. We do have still Venom and Turbo going at it together here, as you can see them coming up the hill towards, where are we? Where is this? Ah, okay, we are coming, these are the last couple of corners of the track. Turbo up on Venom again, 5th and 6th. Was that a pass? I don't think that was a pass. I think it just kind of looked like a weird angle situation there. Little Mac racing alone. Frogs is behind him racing alone as well. Of course, Frogs ate that penalty. And wait, did something else happen to Frogs? He's got damage, front splitter damage on that car, and if that is affecting, well, really, if it's affecting anything, it's going to slow him down. Whether it's causing more drag on the car and therefore causing it to be slow on the straights, the back straight and the boot, and of course the start-finish straight are fairly long. That's going to be a huge deal. They're a big part of the lap. But if it's causing understeer, if it's less downforce, it's still going to be an issue, because you have a lot of sweeping corners, like the chute, like the oh my gosh, I wish I had brought up the track map, but just before the chute, just after the chute, you've got a lot of long sweepers where having less downforce on the car is going to be a big deal. It's going to be pretty detrimental. So Frogs with the decision to make: do I pit or do I stay out? Roses is already pulling up on Wooly. He's already eaten 2 seconds out of that gap, so Roses definitely looking to speed up. Not that Wooly was showing a lot of pace to begin with, so this could also just be Woolie's pace not being up to par with Rose's and everyone here. We'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see how these pan out. Newton and Turbo pretty close by each other again. 1 second between the two of them. So we'll keep an eye on that gap there. Little Mac and Venom also together. However, Venom's got half a second penalty, so that gap is going to increase as soon as Venom has to serve it. Coming up in just one corner here, actually, is going to get into the toe, and during the boot at the back, he's going to have to serve that penalty. I think you guys couldn't hear me earlier. I was talking about the speeds that these cars are hitting on these straights, this Ford GT. So let's stay with Little Mac here on the boot and see how fast he gets before braking for the heel. 140, 141, I think is what I saw there. So pretty quick, just in that short straight there. In the back straight, they should be able to get even quicker in this car. Let's see who's coming up on the back straight. HPR is coming through the final corners here. Not the final corners, sorry, the S's. I just discovered they actually do have a name. These full throttle corners, turns 2, 3, and 4. And now on the back straight, he's already at 150, so already way faster than we were at the very end of the boot. But let's see where he brakes. I saw 163. So 163 for these cars. This one is the fastest car out there right now. 44.5, just ran the very last lap by HPR. And that is the quickest lap thus far in the race. Roses and Wooly, that gap is staying the same. At first, Roses immediately took 2 seconds out of Wooly, but now Wooly's maintaining it and catching up to Frogs and making a pass on Frogs. What is going on, Wooly? Purple in the first sector. So Wooly turning it back up. Maybe, I don't know if he's just found some time or if this was the plan the whole time, if he needed to save fuel and keep that pace low for any reason. We're about 21 minutes into the race, 22 minutes rather. So maybe the plan was at minute 20, turn up the wick and get back out here. So Wooly making a pass on Frogs. He's back up into 8th place. I can't wait to see what this lap time is. I want to see how it compares to his other laps. I don't think that pass slowed him down too much as it happened on the back straight. But, well, Frogs, of course, following him through here. Love the glow of their headlights up ahead. In fact, it almost looks like Wooly's headlights aren't on in some angles. Of course, I think that is just the difference between the yellow of Frog's headlights and the white of Wooly's. Frog's not really losing him here, so holding on to his coattails as they come towards the as they come through the first couple of corners here, or the last couple of corners. Frogs is going to pit. He's going to pit to fix that damage. I think he's decided, yeah, it's not working out. He's going to fix that front splitter. Having trouble as Wooly passed him, so I think he's decided it's not worth it to stay out anymore. So Frogs out of that race. Wooly with a bit more breathing room. What's going on there? That's Knudsen. He's going very slow. He got disconnected. We lost a racer, y'all. So Knudsen out of the race, and my tree kind of glitching. I wonder if I get down there, will it fix itself? No, it doesn't fix itself. That's just going to be weird until it's not weird anymore, I guess. Over there on the left, that's interesting. Man, Frogs is so far behind now after pitting. 19.5 seconds behind Wooly. So actually a quicker pit stop than I expected. However, this isn't the longest start-finish straight, so I guess I shouldn't be that surprised, honestly. It's kind of a short pit straight, so getting through it just to fix damage doesn't seem to cost too much time. In fact, you saw it cost a little bit, maybe 19 seconds, 20 seconds for Frogs there to take that pit stop when he was just on Wooly's bumper. First, second, and third still hugely separated from the rest of the pack. Rusty in third is 9.2 seconds ahead of Turbo. The Truth is another 7.8 seconds ahead of Rusty, and HPR is 5.3 seconds away altogether. So just no chance there for many people. Turbo already 22.5 seconds back from first place. So at least for the first stint, first, second, and third seem to be locked up. Now, of course, most of these races don't end the way they started, especially given that the faster racers from the last race are the ones who start in the front. I'm sorry, the ones who start in the back. And so they have to make their way up front. So we see positional changes. However, we've already seen a few fast drivers have to pit for damage, have issues, and so that has definitely affected things. Rose's having to pit twice, I'm going to tell you right now, is going to hugely affect the story of this race and how it goes, and maybe looks for a chance, a good chance for everyone else. HPR, of course, and Rose's are battling for the championship. They're very close. HPR is ahead right now by a little bit. Let me pull those standings back up for you all so you can see where we're at in the championship. Rose's is ahead, my fault, with 96 points, HPR with 81 points, so HPR actually 15 points behind. I didn't even realize it was that big a gap. I think that's due to the drop round here that happened just after this last race. Drivers get to drop their worst finish, their worst performance, and I know Rose's had a race that he just didn't even make, and so having podiumed in pretty much all the other ones, dropping that round has helped him tremendously. So HPR definitely looking to fight and keep first place here. He's doing a great job so far. He jumped up front, stayed up front at the start of this race, and he's just running away with it. 5.7 seconds to the truth. Though it looks like his tires might be falling off. I'm not sure. The fastest lap was lap 11 with a 44.5. You can see his latest lap was a 44.7, which is only 2/10 off from that. But he did some 45s in between them. That 44.7, though, indicates that maybe he's not falling off. Maybe just had a couple bad laps there. Maybe decided to save some fuel in those laps. Who knows? It could be anything. In an endurance race, you just do what you can do to save fuel, save your tires, and make it to the end of the race, hopefully in a favorable position. Looks like Little Mac and Venom are the closest to what I would call fighting. Venom is 1.3 seconds behind Little Mac. As you recall, he had to eat a penalty just a couple of laps ago, which made him fall off the back of Little Mac. But I wonder if he can catch up. We'll probably stay right here with them, with these two, and just see how this gap progresses for now. Venom goes purple in Sector 1. Surprising to see that, but obviously he's on a tear here. Lap 16, 28 minutes into the race, almost at 29, so in 10 minutes we will have the pit window open. We'll start seeing people come in for fuel and tires, of course. Venom is is inching closer, and Little Mac has to be aware of that. In fact, just in the last corner, Venom ate up 4/10 to get half a second behind Little Mac. You saw in turn 1 there, those headlights get a whole lot closer for a moment. And now that gap staying steady at half a second as they go up through the S's towards the back straight. So Little Mac being chased, and being chased hard here. It's going even faster. That gap closing up. Look at Little Mac goes purple, but Venom behind him probably went purple right after he crossed the line, because he was obviously catching up there. He obviously had a faster first sector altogether. And so Little Mac starting to be under pressure here. And I would like to see a pass happen between these two cars. Check out the windshield wipers being lit up on the Ford GT here. I love that you have this nighttime lighting option. I hadn't ever noticed it before. You can't see the lights on the inside, or from the outside. You can't see the windshield wiper lights, which is interesting. But of course, those side pod lights, those, oh my gosh, what are those called? Those famous flying buttresses on the sides of the Ford GT. Of course, when it came out, people felt like, hey, that's not fair. You know, that's an aerodynamic advantage that the Ford GT had over its competitor cars, which at the time were the 911 RSR, the Corvette, the C7R Corvette, of course, the BMW M8, I believe. I think maybe it raced with the M6 GTE for a little bit. GTE was the moniker in Europe and other countries. GT Endurance, Grand Touring Endurance, if you will. In America, in IMSA, they named it GTLM. That class was GT Le Mans. That class, of course, is gone now and has become GT3 Pro in IMSA. Anyway, that's too much info. What you need to know is that the Ford GT was racing against those cars in that class, and it was considered to have an unfair advantage as far as its aerodynamics go. And I mean, it is what it is. Honestly, Ford knew that they wanted to go racing with this car when they designed it. They knew that they wanted to attack Le Mans again to commemorate the original Ford GT winning at Le Mans, being so dominant in those years that it raced. And so they built a street car with the design that they knew could not be refuted by the FIA when they went racing, because hey, this is part of the original car, right? This is an aerodynamic part of the original car design. It cannot be removed from our vehicle. And so they came in, the balance of performance was deemed to be a little too favorable towards the Ford GT. Now there are some who argue, especially in that first season at Daytona, that the Fords had a whole lot of help with the BOP. I hope I don't have that backwards. I hope it's not the opposite, that the Fords were nerfed, but I think it was that they had a little help, which, I mean, it might be. You know, the Ford GT coming back and dominating made a great story, both for Ford as a brand, but also for IMSA as a sanctioning body, a racing body. And so, you know, it wouldn't have done anyone any favors to have the Ford GT come in and be a flop. So I'm not saying that the FIA and or IMSA may have given the Ford a little bit of preference in creating the BOP, the balance of performance, but I'm not saying they didn't. And that's all I'm saying about that. Sure enough, the Ford GT did dominate, won the IMSA championship at least once, maybe a couple of times if I recall correctly. Of course, won Le Mans as well, and then Ford shuttered the program once they had hit their goals. It was it was like the Viper program, the Mopar Dodge Viper racing program of the early 2010s. They came in, the cars were not doing great, then they were doing okay. And one year, Viper decided, hey, we're not going to go to Le Mans. We are going to take this break to rework the car. They came back in that iconic red livery with white stripes of the earlier dominant Viper, and they swept. They absolutely killed it, won the IMSA championship, and then they shut the doors to the program and haven't been back since. Talk about winning the game, taking your ball, and going home. Viper and Ford, two car manufacturers cut from the same cloth. Well, it's our pleasure to get to race the Ford GT here. Of course, you're not going to see it in any current pro level racing anymore that I can think of, but the Ford program, the Ford GT racing program, for as short as it lasted, gave us an iconic car, and now our drivers get to enjoy it here. I'm taking a look at tire wear. In fact, I'm going to let y'all see that because you can now. And it's not so bad, right? Very even on this car, it seems, at least on Woolie's car. Now, Willie, of course, has not been on pace with everyone else. I'm going to look at everyone else, and it looks like Frog's maybe heavy on the left side with the tire wear. Bite the Roses, a little bit heavy on the left side as well. Oh, touches the wall there. Just doesn't do a good job in the chute. And that's that corner I was telling you about where the braking, the gravity can help you with braking because it's an uphill turn. It's almost like a corkscrew type turn. It's uphill, which helps you get the car slowed down and get it turned, but also being uphill takes weight off of your steering wheels, your front wheels, which makes the car understeer. And Bite the Roses obviously got the balance wrong there. Understeering into the wall. No damage on the car, as y'all can see. Very lucky to get no damage on it. Here's HPR. The reason he's been running away is that he's been on those soft tires from the start. He's 5.9 seconds ahead of the Truth Serum. So what HPR wanted to do was get out front, get as much of a gap as possible, and as you can see, it's been okay, but it's been steady at 5.7 to 5.9 seconds for a long time, a whole lot of laps. And that sort of, you know, it's the disadvantage of the softs, if you ask me. Now, HPR, of course, looking to keep as many positions as possible in order to catch up on Roses on championship points. He's got a huge chance here. Roses having to pit twice very early on in the race and still racing in last place with a 47-second gap to Frog. So that gap is even bigger. It was like 39 seconds. So I don't know if something's happened or if Roses has been saving fuel. Doesn't look like he's done a better job saving fuel or tires than anyone else on track, so it hasn't helped. But HPR is the winner between the two of them as far as what has happened to Roses so far. But after the pit stop, HPR is going to get on the medium tire. That is the slower tire. He's got less grip. It'll last longer. As you can see, the softs are falling off, and we're nearing the end of the stint, and the Truth Serum is not only maintaining the gap, but he's catching up to HPR on the softs. But HPR is going to be on those mediums, and he's going to be losing positions until the softs fall off enough that he can maintain and maybe even get positions back towards the end of the race if he's close enough to someone to do so. So HPR with a big gamble, starting on the soft tires and going to try to finish the race on the mediums on the slower tire. His biggest rival way back in the order and down, and probably feeling like, yeah, he doesn't have much of a chance to pad his lead against HPR. Might even lose his lead. It's a 15-point lead. How many points do you get for finishing in 10th place? Let me find out. Let me find out for you all. Be right back. Well, I hit unmute on the mic, but it didn't actually unmute. What I was saying that none of you heard was that if Roses were to finish where he is right now, which is 10th place, which means he just does not progress at all, he would gain 6 points in the race. If HPR finishes in first place, he gains 18 points, which means that even if HPR wins this thing, it's not enough to overcome that 15-point gap that he's got to Roses. If you recall earlier, I showed you all the standings, and we showed you that Roses has 96 points versus HPR's 81. That's a 15-point gap there. And so, even if HPR gets 18 points here, it's not enough to beat Roses, who's going to get 6 points, whether he finishes in last or not. However, it brings HPR right back into striking distance. I think it's, what, like a 3-point difference there at that point. I've said point a lot. But it would take a lot for HPR to finish it first. Like I said, he's going to have to get on the medium tires, and he's going to lose positions. The Truth looks great, as always. The Truth always just has a super quiet, unassuming race, but finishes, you know, towards the top almost every time. So the Truth is probably going to catch him when he goes onto the softs. Rusty Maggots also has a chance. Of course, that gap is pretty huge between all of them, but it's gonna get closed up pretty quickly with HPR being on the soft tire. So, let's say HPR finishes in third, given how big these gaps between first, second, third, and even fourth are, you know, all over 10 seconds, except the gap between HPR and the Truth, which is 5 seconds right now. But let's say he gets third, it's definitely not going to be enough. It's gonna make Roses is going to increase the gap, basically, between them. Is that right? No, that's not right. Either way, there's nothing HPR can do to get ahead of Roses here. All they can do is hold on to positions. Why is my math not mathing? The math part of my brain ain't mathing good. Getting low on fuel there for the Truth. Of course, the pit window is open, though. 42 minutes into the race. So pit window's open. Once the 40-minute mark was hit, people could come in for fuel. What I'm seeing is no one has really done a phenomenal job of saving fuel. Little Mac is just above where the fuel would be flashing red. Venom actually not looking good on fuel at all. I'm surprised to see him going around for another lap rather than pitting. I guess, I mean, obviously I don't know how much fuel is used in a lap. I'm guessing he knows he can make another lap here without having to pit. Wooly doing okay on fuel. We've already got someone who's pitted. This is Frogs. He's already pitted, and he just had a penalty. I didn't get to see how long it was, but Frogs pitted and came out just ahead of Roses here, who of course will have to pit. And behind them, is that HPR coming up behind them? Yeah, that's HPR coming up to lap Roses and Frogs, so you can see just ahead of him there. HPR will have to pit soon, but these two so far behind. Roses gets out of the way for him very easily, just completely gets off the throttle, just lays off of it. So Roses, I think, maybe just finishing this race, not looking to really progress, because I mean, why slow down that drastically to let first place by if you're still trying to be in this race? So Roses just being a good sport, staying in the lobby here with us, I think. And, well, we appreciate you, Roses. We really do. I didn't see any other pit stops come up just yet, so I'm not expecting to see any right now this lap. But of course, you got a few people coming towards the back of the end of the lap here. In fact, Venom is in. I figured he would have to pit in that Eco Boost 4 GT. Love that livery, calling out the Eco Boost right above HBR. That's Higginbotham Brothers Racing, of course. Venom being one of the Higginbotham brothers, and Igorski being the other. So he's gonna sit there for fuel for a while. So we'll go ahead and go to the next player, whose name I can't see right now. Am I looking at Frogs? I'm looking at Frogs. Okay. Roses, of course, is back behind Frogs, 3.5 seconds, but Roses owes a pit stop. So, sorry, that's HPR ahead of Roses, rather. That's not a positional. That would be a change of position if he got ahead of HPR, which he probably won't. here. Who are we looking at? Venom is still sitting in the pits. It's a really long pit stop to refuel that car, but it does look like, just given that we're just now hitting the 45-minute mark, which is halfway through the race, it does look like if you're pitting for a full tank of fuel. And I expect that we'll see a whole lot of people diving in now, because these tanks are definitely looking super empty on the cars. I don't expect many people to be going for another lap. Wooly could probably go for an extra lap. The Truth is in for fuel now. So that is second place in. Rusty inherits second because he didn't pit. He'll pit next lap around. Probably gonna try to get a good out lap, but he was several seconds behind the Truth. I mean, it was a long time. The Truth is out there. Interesting livery, interesting message on the livery for the Truth here. I love this car. I meant to buy it today. I had all these lofty plans. I was going to buy the car. I was going to hang out on Watkins Glen with all the racers today in some practice lobby. But I got distracted by baseball. I was playing baseball on my PlayStation, not real life. I was playing MLB The Show and just was into it. You know, won a couple games, did pretty well, so I don't regret it, but I do wish that I had gotten a chance to try this car out here before the race, and that's my bad. That's my bad. I should do better for y'all. Alright, pit stop's still happening. We still have time. We have 3.5 minutes left in the pit window, so people can pit without trouble here. Roses is gonna dive in here. Most likely this is the last corner we see him coming up on. Yep, trying not to cross that line and get the car in there. And I want to reboot so bad. Pink and black Apex Racing livery. Roses, of course, being a member of the Apex Racing team. His other teammates, Tattooed Freak, not here. And do we have any other Apex drivers in the lobby? Do we? Turbo also in his sleek 4 GT. You can just see how sleek and how low down and wide slung this car is. Very, very much like the original, and very much like a car that is meant for the long straights at Le Mans. Now everyone diving in. Turbo in, Rusty in with 0 fuel, Little Mac in. Hopefully these guys didn't come in, didn't run out of fuel before they came to the line, because that's definitely going to slow them down. Little Mac's in, Wooly in, Little Mac popping out now. Wooly rocking a Fanatec livery, Amigos Racing on the side, and Little Mac crosses the line to get back out. 100% fuel taken in that car. Like I said, I don't think anyone's not going to fill it up. Ooh, Little Mac must have crossed the line. He must have touched the line coming out, because he comes out with a 3-second penalty, and he is absolutely going to hate that. That's going to give Venom this position for sure. As you remember, they were going at it earlier in the race before Venom ate a penalty. Look at HPR in with 11% fuel left in that car. So HPR, obviously the fuel saving king this time around. That's going to increase his gap just a bit, which is good for him. He definitely needs all the help that he can get in that Ford GT now that he's going on the medium tires. I love that Echo Boost livery on his car, all red with just the white stripes. Fantastic looking car there. So HPR, our race leader, out of the pits. He should come out still ahead of everyone. He had a huge gap, no mistakes, no issues. So he's going to come out here as soon as he crosses that line. He'll not have to adhere to the speed limit anymore. He only takes 89% fuel, so save fuel not only did he save fuel, even if he'd gone to 100%, he would have saved time having to do that. But he didn't even have to do that. He went to 89% fuel because, well, I guess he knows that he can use only 89% on the softs. He should use even less on the mediums. And he comes out 12.3 seconds ahead of the Truth. So HPR, master strategy if this works out for him. Ooh, a little sketchy in the chicane, but he manages to hold on to it. The gap to the Truth comes down just a little bit, not too much. It's still going to be a 12-second gap. It was 5 seconds when they went to pit, or just a few laps before. So HPR with a huge boost, probably a huge morale boost there too, coming out of that pit stop. First stint going pretty much perfectly for him. Now, Frogs has already taken the fastest lap honors here with a 43.8 on the soft tires. So that is super fast. Of course, HPR would have never been able to hit that on those softs because, well, actually, that's not true. He would have been able to hit that maybe towards the start of the stint. So Frogs just kind of showing, hey, me and these softs, we get along, and we get along well. Did a 44.7 the lap before, so I expect him to keep getting quicker. Behind him, Wooly, 10 seconds back now. Let's go through everyone. Let's look at the gaps now that the pit window has closed, and then I'll put that bottom banner back on so we can give these guys their privacy. HPR, of course, on the medium tires, 10 seconds ahead of the Truth Serum out of the pit stop. The Truth also, on the softs now, Rusty Maggots, 10.7 seconds behind the Truth. Turbo, 13 seconds behind Rusty. Venom, only 4.2 seconds behind Turbo after having taken 5th from Little Mac, who ate a 3-second penalty. Now he is 1 second behind Venom. So these two still in it together, actually. Venom with that nice break with that penalty there. But Little Mac not too far to strike. TCU Frogs, 8.2 seconds behind Little Mac, so not in this fight at all. Wooly is another 11.8 seconds behind him, and Roses is still languishing, 49 seconds behind Wooly. So no improvement made in that. No improvement made in the first stint after eating those 2 pit stops. No improvement in the pit stops themselves. He hadn't saved enough fuel to do that, and I mean, we've only got half the race left, really less than half, and 49 seconds is a lot of time to try to overcome at that point. So I wish Roses had been climbing and closing that gap during the first stint, but didn't seem to, it just wasn't happening for him. Now, HPR and the Truth is a gap to watch, 9 seconds now, so the Truth is taking a second out of HPR. Of course, HPR with great pace. He's a fast driver. He's obviously doing very well for himself in the season. So the Truth can't expect this to be super easy. However, it is made easier by the fact that HPR is on medium tires and just has a little less grip, a little less life in them. However, if I'm HPR, Rusty goes fastest in the last sector, by the way. If I am HPR, I, of course, just try to run away. Just try to be as fast as possible. But even when the Truth gets to me, I don't give it up easy. Those mediums will last. I'm not saying be reckless with them by any means, but the mediums last. And so you can do a little bit of defending. I would defend for as long as I could. If I could get 2 or 3 laps worth of defending and keeping the Truth behind me, that's fantastic, because I know that those softs are getting chewed up, right? He's faster than me. Once he passes me, he is going to run away. That is guaranteed. That's just physics. However, if I can keep him behind me and keep him chewing those softs up, trying to get around me, that's going to give me a chance to stay on his coattails or catch him back up towards the end of the stint. Even if I can't keep up with him, at least I know I did real damage to those tires, and that's going to come back to me in the last 5 or 6 laps of the race. So, HPR, hold on to him. 8.8 seconds. He's actually doing a pretty decent job. Sorry, 8.4. That was just an accordioning effect there. But he's doing a decent job of making sure that gap doesn't come down fast, but it's coming down. Look at Little Mac. Little Mac behind Venom. 0.6 seconds now between these two, so I expect some to happen soon here. Some, you know, that's fighting, if you will. That sound is, I've decided, now means fighting. So between these two drivers, a little boxing, a little jabbing here and there. They've already had the first stint to kind of size each other up. However, penalties have played a big role in these two drivers in their fight, whether it was penalties bringing Venom off of Little Mac's back when he was catching up to him earlier, or now Little Mac, of course, taking 3 seconds after the pit stop, giving Venom the position. I'd like to see a battle between these two that's just straight up, no penalties, no nothing helping you. I just want to see if y'all two can keep up. Why is the bottom banner not showing? Oh my gosh, I'm showing y'all all the goodies. Goodies are covered again. Nothing much to say anyway. We're just 5-6 minutes out of the pit window. Tires still look great. Fuel still looks great. You know what it is. You know the situation. Little Mac definitely getting closer to Venom here. Another 10th eaten out of him. So, and Venom not doing too great there in that last curve. He seemed not to find the apex at all, but neither did Little Mac. So pretty lucky there for Venom. Oh no, Venom way outside in the toe, and that of course brings Little Mac right up to him as they go down the flat section, the boot, the straight section rather, not flat, but Venom, that half second of cushion immediately gone as he goes wide in the chute. What did I say? What did I say, right? You gotta find the middle ground between braking yourself and letting the gravity brake for you. Venom having a little trouble finding apexes, it seems, at least from our view here. And Little Mac is just going to be watching and waiting and trying to get a position, falling back a little bit here through the final corners. Those would be hard to follow closely and get with dirty air, but Little Mac obviously putting Venom on notice, maybe making him a little bit nervous, but Venom seems to have found his way to kind of keep Little Mac off, which is in the last sector there, he does pretty well, but then Little Mac immediately closes back on him in the front straight towards turn 1. It's the second time that we've seen that here. Granted, we also saw it from Venom when he was behind Little Mac, so maybe it's Arrow helping them. That was Frogs just behind them. You can just see the headlights. Oh, and Venom spins! Oh my gosh, I can't believe I go away for a second. And Venom spins. Frogs is going to go around the outside of him in the chute there. And Little Mac with just lucky. Just lucky. I can't believe that just happened. I don't know what happened. We missed it, unfortunately. But Venom goes around. Maybe went around himself. I'm not sure. Frogs, no damage on that car. No damage on Venom's car either. But Venom losing 2 positions in that. However, he's pretty close to Frogs here, 1 second behind him. But Little Mac is who I meant. Got really lucky there. 6.9 seconds away now. So Venom loses over 7 seconds in that spin and falls out of the battle for 5th. So top 5 maybe not possible for Venom here. 58 minutes into the race, so we've still got a lot of racing left to do, but you know, a couple of cars got to tumble for Venom to get back into that top 5. HPR versus the Truth. The gap is down almost by half. 5 seconds now between these two drivers. So HPR again doing a good job of making sure that gap comes down slowly. We're about 10 minutes past the end of the pit window, and typically when we've seen somebody try this, hey, I'm going to take the softs and be up front and create a gap, when we've seen this strategy, typically about 10 minutes in, they've already lost first place. So HPR just doing a great job keeping the car on the road and keeping it fast. The last lap, unfortunately, half a second slower than what he's been doing, a 46.2. That obviously isn't helpful. Hopefully he doesn't make whatever mistake happened there again, and so doesn't lose that position again. 4.5 seconds to the truth now, so that tracks half a second lost in that last lap, and then does a 45.7, so back on track here. Luckily, he did a 45.3 on lap 30, and he should be able to do that again. The mediums look great. If anything, he's got less fuel in the car. He should be able to exceed that. That was about 4 laps ago, so HPR needs to find whatever it was he found there and get it back. A 45.3. Pulling a few 45.3s would be fantastic. Little Mac now joins the rest of the top 5 in that he has nothing but clean air ahead of him. Just all he has to do is drive the car and drive it quick. The Truth and HPR are the only ones who are in any danger of being slowed down coming up here as they close in on one another. But besides them, everyone in the top 5 has all the time in the world. Who's in the pits? Wooly in the pits, as well as Frogs. Damage for both of them. What happened? Were they even close to one another? Rose is also in, but he's not fixing anything. I think he's just done. He's just done for the evening, from what it looks like. Unless this is that weird glitch where they look like they stayed in the pits, but they didn't. That I learned about that when we did our Goodwood race, and I think it was HPR, in fact, who looked to be in the pits the entire race for me, but in reality was like fighting for first place. So Rose is probably not fighting for first place, but doesn't necessarily mean he's sitting in the pits. However, given how the race has been going for him so far, it wouldn't be surprising if that's what he's decided. Now, what happened to Wooly and Frogs, I have no idea. I can't explain why they were in the pits. Frogs comes out ahead of Venom. But Frogs was already ahead of Venom. So, what? Did I miss something? Wooly definitely pitted. He's 53 seconds behind Venom. So, that's got to be a pit stop to make that gap be almost a minute long at this point. But yeah, I have no idea what happened there, and I think I was wrong about Frogs being in the pit too. It's kind of weird with the whole, yeah, with the glitching on the left-hand side. I might have been mistaken about what 2 cars I saw. It must have been just Wooly and Roses, not Wooly and Frogs. I could have sworn I saw somebody pulling out of there. You know what? Let me go to Frogs. Frogs. What up, buddy? Is this delivery I saw pulling out? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. The car sounds great from this angle, though. Oh, you hear that blat? Just a blat from the exhaust. I kind of like that sound. That brrrr. Uh-oh. Venom behind him picks up a penalty. Half a second for Venom. So, penalties keeping Venom out of a lot of fights. Unfortunately, I've seen him take at least 2 now. And this might not even just be his second. So, penalties playing a big part here in this race. You know, of course, spinning as well, but quite a few people struggling in the race tonight. And it's showing by the fact that we've got such huge gaps between the cars. And when we do get a close battle, something seems to happen. a bit of a struggle with the car and track tonight in the race, which you hate to see because I think this is a great combo. 25 minutes of racing left here. HPR now 2.2 seconds ahead of the Truth, so the Truth should be able to see HPR fairly easily. Yeah, sure enough, there is HPR right there. And like I said, HPR's got a decision to make when the Truth gets there. Do I fight him, which would slow us both down, you know, potentially letting Rusty get closer, but it could also, oh, we lost Roses. But, you know, fighting could also lead to eating up the Truth's tires and giving HPR a chance at keeping first place there. So, who knows? Now, he lost Roses. I don't know what the rule is on points if he leaves. I don't know if that's 0 points or if he still gets 10th place points because he did half the race. I don't remember how that rule fleshed out. But if it's 0 points, then HPR does take over first place in the standings. He will be over Roses by 3 points. So then it'll really be a fight down to the wire between these two drivers in the last 2 races of the season. Which, oh, ooh, I would want to see. Yes, 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 I would want to see. It's half a second now. The Truth coming up on HPR, and any minute now, they're going to be in fighting range, in battling range. So we're going to see what decision HPR takes in how he fights this driver off. So far, not driving defensively. Doesn't seem to really need to, of course. They're coming through turn 9 now to head back towards the end of the lap here. The start of the lap, I guess. And then this corner also doesn't have a name, just turn 11. So, front straight. The Truth is within slipstream range, so he's going to get closer here. Yep, that gap is closing down. He gains almost a 10th on HPR through the front straight there. So now he is right there on him. Through the S's here, full throttle for both of them. So the Truth is probably just going to get even closer, and does. Yes, it's got a nice toe there. HPR going defensive. He doesn't want the Truth getting around him to get into the chicane, but I think the Truth has already managed to make it happen, though he overdrove it, and HPR keeps the position there. HPR very smart to see that. I was looking, I was like, the Truth, it feels like he's gonna try to make this lunge happen around the outside, and he's gonna outbrake himself, and so HPR, sure enough, defending, looking to keep the Truth there, looking to goad the Truth into a mistake. The other thing that can happen, of course, if the tires don't fall off, is that that person can make a mistake behind you. They could spin out. That's the other reason why I love, even when I know the driver behind me is faster, has all the advantages, I love to still defend my position, because the longer I frustrate them, the more likely they are to make a mistake behind me. And if I can get them to dip a wheel in the grass and go around, or even if it's just a little bit of sideways action that gives me half a second more breathing room again, I want it. The Truth, looking inside at turn 9 there, you saw, doesn't make anything happen, but he's a lot closer as they come through turns 9, 10, and 11. Turn 11 here, this final corner. So, will he get even closer? Uh-oh, I've done the wrong thing. What happens for turn 1 here? HPR doesn't bother to defend. The Truth not looking to dive and take a position either there. So, still hanging on. Now, another chance up through the S's here as he had before to try to get ahead of him. HPR looks like he's trying to cover there. And the Truth will get alongside again for another chance at this chicane. And hopefully he learned his lesson and doesn't outbrake himself again. However, HPR with better track position once again gets it done and gives himself more breathing room doing it. The Truth has to slow way down. It's just not that easy to get into that chicane from that side of the track and make it work. You're likely going to overshoot it, and so you have to slow way down to ensure that you don't. And that is what HPR took advantage of there. HPR not doing a great job at the apex here. Oh, he just apexes it late. So do I. I don't know what I'm talking about. And so, hanging on here. This isn't really a corner you can dive into, so the truth, nothing doing here. The truth might be able to make something happen in turn 9 if he wants to take a dive. He's not close enough. But if he was close enough, this is another corner where you can try to squeeze a move out against someone. But honestly, the truth has a better chance of just getting it done in the final corner. You see him dive into turn 10 a little bit sooner there. Same for turn 11 to make sure that that dirty air doesn't affect him and that he gets a good run out of the corner. This time he does. He gets a great run out of turn 11. Is he gonna dive into turn 1? He tries it, but HPR knows he's got a lot of room on the outside of that turn. However, he loses traction. It's slippery out there, and now the truth has made the position. He's got first place. It has stuck. He leads HPR into the S's and into the back straight. So now HPR has one job. Stay in the slipstream. Stay as deep up under the truth's wing as you possibly can. Maybe even go for positions if you can. But, for the position rather. But what you want to do is not lose this driver. And as you can see, into the braking for the chicane. The truth obviously comes out advantageous there. He's just got more grip. HPR managed to hold him back for a little bit, but you know, we've got, well, we're 1 hour and 11 minutes into the race, so we still got a lot of racing to go. That's a lot of time for the truth to run away, and maybe HPR didn't hold him back as long as he wanted to, so might not have the advantage that he wanted, but don't give up. Hang on to it there. Your biggest competitor, your biggest rival has quit the race. The next rival down is way down on points compared to you. 6 points behind you, and but it's only 1 point, 1 position back. That's Rusty Maggots, as y'all can see. So HPR is going to want to hold on to second place here, and he's going to want to hold on to it as much as possible. Rusty's 4.6 seconds away from him. The truth has already got 1.8 seconds ahead of him. So HPR now, without a slipstream, just has to hunker down and get fast laps and make sure the gap to Rusty Maggots goes down slowly, and that the gap to the truth obviously doesn't go up too fast. Little Mac in the pits. Damage? I don't see damage, but he's just sitting there. Little Mac was running in 5th. I don't see any reason why he would get out, but again, could be the glitch. Turbo with a half-second penalty here. He's in 4th. I wonder if there's some correlation there, though I don't think they were running together at all. They seem to be pretty far away from one another, so if there's a correlation there, I don't know what it is. Venom's got damage, front splitter damage on his car. I wonder how he picked that up. There's been drama back here, and I didn't even know. I was looking at HPR and the truth. But yeah, Little Mac just doesn't look like he's moving. I guess we'll know by at the end of the race. I'll check chat and see if he's actually racing or not. In fact, why don't I check now and see if maybe there's a message in there. Nothing in the chat that I can see, so not sure what's going on with Little Mac there, but he is seemingly out of this race. Rusty making headway against HPR. 3.6 seconds is that gap. Again, that's the one we're keeping an eye on. We're seeing how many positions HPR can keep, because every position is crucial to his fight in the championships here. He got himself a nice little gap in the first stint, pulled out somehow an even bigger gap just in the pit stops. And now, you know, we've got just a few minutes of racing left here. He's looking pretty good. Very good on the lap here. In the stint, rather. But here's HPR. There's Rusty right behind him. You can see he's getting closer and closer. Are they going to clash? More than likely. 15 minutes of racing left. I don't see Rusty not catching up to HPR unless, well, I won't curse it. The commentator's curse is real. I will only watch and observe and report. Wow, I don't think I had realized, but Turbo is 26 seconds off of Rusty Maggot. So, I mean, the top three is all but locked in at this point in the race here with just a little less than 15 minutes left to go. There's such a huge gap between the top three and everyone else that it just doesn't seem possible for anyone else to catch up. Meanwhile, top three are all within 3 seconds of one another. The truth is slowly getting further and further away from HPR. That is a 3-second gap as it stands right now. However, those softs are starting to look a bit worn on everyone's car. HPR on those mediums are looking great. So, as we near the end of this stint, I really want to see how that gap evolves. Obviously, I want to see if Rusty catches up to HPR at all. I want to see if it becomes a three-way battle for first. Given some of these other gaps, I mean 30 seconds between cars, and Little Mac not being in it, at least not where we can watch, I think that's going to be our only battle, short of, you know, sometimes people spin and end up right next to each other. You know, we saw it earlier. Maybe it'll happen again. HPR with a little bit of trouble that last lap. He lost 4/10 compared to the lap before it, so that did bring Rusty just a little bit closer. It brings the truth, or takes the truth a little bit further away. Hopefully HPR can recover and find that pace again, but a big 4/10 difference between lap 41 sorry, between lap 42 and 43. Lap 44 splits the difference. It has a 45.3 there. 43, too many 40s. But HPR a little bit quicker again in lap 44. Not that quick though. Here's the truth. Who was that other car just ahead of them? Did I? Or was that just the... I guess that was just the camera showing these three cars together. Okay. Thought maybe someone was in danger of getting lapped. I said, you know, I was thinking lap traffic would definitely make this battle interesting here. This top three. However, I don't see any lap traffic coming up. The next closest car is... oh, it's Wooly. He's right there. Is that... the truth ahead of him? It is. So actually Wooly already got lapped. I didn't... okay, so I wasn't tripping. So Wooly's in this. So then that... ooh, that puts HPR in a position. HPR's got 1 second to Rusty. Wooly goes way out of the way to make sure he doesn't affect that battle at all. So no bad luck for HPR there. No good luck for Rusty. Just some heads up racing by Wooly just to see, hey, I'm in last place and I'm not going to bother your race at all here. With 9.5 minutes left to go, as it stands, even if HPR were to give up second place here, he's still done wonders for his campaign for first place in the championship, if only because of Rose's incredibly bad luck at the very start of this race, leading him to eventually leave the race altogether. That has really put HPR in a great position. Of course, HPR's own racing and strategizing has definitely put him in that position as well, not taking away from that whatsoever. He still would have been fighting for something near the podium, if not the podium, if Roses stayed in this race. However, Roses leaving, Roses having that incident opened the door for HPR, seriously, and I'm very excited about these two drivers as we end near the end of the season. Let's go. 1 second still between Rusty and HPR. I think Rusty's having trouble getting closer to the Malaysian driver on those racing mediums. I think we're starting to see it, y'all. I think this is the fall off. In fact, the truth gap goes way down. It was like 4 seconds a moment ago. It's 3.1 seconds. So the truth maybe made a mistake. Mistake probably caused by tire wear. I don't know. He does a 46.7 in that last lap, which is way slower than the lap before. Lap before he did a 45 flat. So 1.6 seconds is a huge difference in a lap there. Big mistake by the truth. Don't know where it happened. No damage on that car, but it has cost them. That gap is now 3.5 seconds. HPR ahead of Rusty. That gap has actually gone down. It was holding tight at 1 second, but now it's half a second. So, I don't know. Maybe HPR with a mistake in the first sector. Not sure. But what I can say is the truth isn't running away. After whatever mistake that happened there, he's not bringing the gap back up. So maybe we are starting to see that tire differential come into play here. We have 6 minutes of racing left. That's a few laps. That's 3 or 4 laps around here. Let's get it. Let's get it. Oh yeah, the truth definitely starting to feel those softs fall off after that heel-toe boot section. The gap down to 2.9 seconds between HPR and the Truth. So I think in some of these longer sweeping corners, the Truth might be able to carry a little more speed still, but as far as braking goes and even accelerating away, we're starting to see those softs really struggle. Rusty, 1.2 seconds off HPR now. Just a few corners ago, it was half a second. So HPR in those mediums starting to make a comeback. The strategy starting to work for him, and if the Truth can make more mistakes, or if the HPR can find some speed somewhere, he's gonna take first place. I can take the banner off now. I'm gonna take the banner off right now. I'm gonna take it off. I'm gonna take it off. I'm gonna take it off. So that you can see the fuel situation between the Truth and HPR. Not saying the Truth doesn't have enough fuel to go 5 minutes. I don't know. It looks okay. But HPR is doing great. He has to save anything. The gap, 2.1 seconds now. It's coming down, and it is coming down fast. Rusty's not keeping up. He's not keeping up to HPR here. So we are seeing some real stuff start to go down. I'm going to check with the rest of the field just in case. Nothing doing. Everyone is super far from one another. This is the fight to watch. HPR catching up to the Truth, running away from Rusty. All he has to do is be perfect. No pressure. Let's go on board with the Truth. This is just us supervising, making sure he doesn't make any mistakes. Let's just watch. Great turn 11 there. Great, carries momentum, hits the apex, nice late apex, perfect. We're just observing. He's managed to keep and maintain about 2.2 seconds the last few corners here. Of course, the chicane going to be a differentiator between himself and HPR. Hard braking in the chicane, big direction change. It's very unstable if you don't have the tire grip. And sure enough, HPR picks up 3/10 there on him. So HPR really starting to gain on the Truth. Rusty falling way behind, 1.5 seconds between them. I think Rusty made a mistake there because he just fell off really fast there. Interesting. Must have made a mistake in the chute. Meanwhile, here's the Truth. We have 2 minutes left in the race, and he's coming towards the end of this lap, and it's a lap 45. I think we're gonna see 2 more laps. If he crosses the line before the 15-second mark here, he does. I'm pretty sure we're gonna see 2 more laps, 2 more chances for HPR to catch up to him. Again, the soft tires are going to be wearing worse and worse, faster and faster as these 2 laps go. Meanwhile, the mediums wear is pretty steady. The tires are a little worn on that car. You can see that's Rusty way back there. Those are his headlights. He's out of this fight unless HPR makes a big mistake. But ahead, the Truth's tires are going to be falling off quicker than HPR's are. And I think here in the chicane, like before, we might see a big chunk of time get eaten as it did last lap. However, the Truth eked out 0.2 in the first sector somehow. So picked up some time, gave himself a little breathing room, keeps it here in fact. So coming out of the chicane, coming out of the outer loop and into the chute, the gap goes back to 1.8 seconds between these 2 drivers, 1.9. So maybe HPR not feeling it. Like this is the moment. This is the time to jump on it. And you're running out of time. We're only going to get maybe one more lap out of this. We have 40 seconds left before we hit a minute 30. I think they can finish this lap within 40 seconds, which means we'll get another lap around. I'll stay with them just in case because I think it's going to be kind of close. They're coming around turn 9 now. Turn 10 is next. Turn 11. We got 20 seconds to cross the line and get another lap. I think they're going to do it. Up ahead, that is Venom in 6th place, looking like he's about to get lapped. Yep, he immediately gets out of the way of these two drivers here. The Truth is going to cross the line before a minute 30, an hour 30 rather, so one more lap around. He's 2 seconds ahead of HPR, about 1.8. It's hovering, so he's doing well. All he has to do is keep it together now. Just take it home. HPR is not going to be able to catch him fast enough at this point to take the position from him. The Truth has to lose the position. So his job is to hold on to it and not let that happen. Fuel is looking precious in that car. But he's still got it. Gets through the chicane okay. They're going to come through the outer loop now. Everyone behind these two drivers has taken the checkered flag. Rusty's in 3rd. Turbo's taking it in 4th. TCU is about to cross for 5th. Venom, Wooly, and Little Mac aren't even going to finish. They're in 8th, 7th, 6th, 7th, and 8th, respectively. Yes. It's just these two. Only these two are still going full speed on track. Well, Frogs might still be. But no one's watching Frogs. We're watching these two. They're coming towards the end of the lap here. They're in the boot, braking for the heel now. And HPR is just not close enough to make any moves. However, 2nd place is the fact that he only lost the 1 position is huge. It says everything about his speed, about his strategy in this race. The way he has put it together to start on the softs and finish on the mediums and only lose 1 position is amazing. And to be catching up to that 1st place sooner than you thought. Ooh, is the Truth out of fuel? Oh, close to out of fuel, but he does cross. He does cross for 1st. HPR in 2nd place. I thought the Truth slowed way down for a second there, and I was about to scream. I think I screamed a little bit. I think I did scream a little bit, but it was going to be worse than what you heard, I promise you, because, whoo, what a finish. Fantastic. Congratulations to the Truth. Another drama-free, just steadfast race. I think his 1st win in the season, so congratulations there. HPR, good job taking 2nd place. Rusty in 3rd, Turbo 4th. Frogs took 5th, Venom in 6th, Wooly in 7th, and Little Mac in 8th place from what we can tell. Again, there is a glitch. It might have been fixed, actually. There's been a couple of updates, but there was a glitch earlier this season where sometimes it looked like somebody was off track, but they were not off track, and that was very confusing. But anyway, we're here. We did it. What an amazing race. I wish I could play highlights for you, honestly. It was really, really good. I am gonna start doing my job here and tallying up the winners and stuff and get you all these results. I'll be right back with our interviewees.
Like speaker as in like our audio?
Yeah, like speakerphone.
If you like touch the screen, there's a little thing that pops up on the bottom. Hit like the second icon.
Is that the rocket?
No, it's like, are you on Android or iPhone?
iPhone.
Okay, well, I'm on Android, and what I do is I touch the screen, there's a little thing that pops up, and then there's a little icon that shows either a picture of a phone or a speaker. It's the second one. You hit that and you select speaker. That, or you're going to have to just crank your volume all the way up.
Yeah, that's what I did because I don't have that. I think it's just a glitch.
There's also... Yep.
Yep, good.
Yep, good.
All right, everyone. Thank you for hanging on for us there. Had to get some audio stuff sorted out. I have with me our 3 podium position folks, though. The Truth in first, HPR finished in second, Rusty in third. Hey, y'all. How you doing?
Great.
Sweaty. Nice. Okay. Well, I always start with third place. Was that you, Rusty, that said you were sweaty, or was that the Truth?
Yeah, that was me.
I don't know who me is.
Yeah, that was Rusty. Sorry.
Thanks, Rusty. I mean, yeah, you had quite a battle at the end there, so I could see why you would be sweaty. Was that your only battle all race? You trying to chase HPR down?
Well, like the entire beginning part of the race was just complete chaos. I started in like 5th, I believe, immediately lost a position to Truth. I think at one point I fell all the way back to like 7th or 8th even.
Wow.
In the first few laps, and then had to work my way back up. I think I quickly got back up into like 4th. So that was what started the sweaty. And then yeah, it was some really intense like first 5 laps, and then I think I was behind Wooly, who was in 3rd. I was in 4th for a while, eventually got past him, and the rest of the race from there was just chasing Truth and HPR. And almost got up to them, but couldn't quite get right in HPR's slipstream. And then, what was it, lap 50, I had a mistake that made it so I couldn't get to lap 51. Had I not made that mistake in turn 1 on lap 50, I think I would have been able to go another lap with these guys, but I ended up being like a second short of the timer.
Wow. Yeah, got it. You did end up being just outside of that. I gotta say, you got really close. Unfortunately, it was like right as you got there, the differential in tire wear came into play, because then you were contending with both Dirty Air and Worn Softs, and it just kept you. It was almost like 2, of the same pole magnets trying to come together. Like as soon as you get right up to HPR, you were back behind him, like far away again.
Right, and the problem is when you're chasing a guy like HPR, he has the most insane fuel strategies of anybody in this league. I don't know how he saves fuel the way he does, but whenever you get behind him, you don't know if he's really low on fuel or really high on fuel. Usually you probably have more gas than him, but he's using less than you, so you got to catch him while he's still saving, and came up a little short of that, unfortunately.
Yeah, gotcha. Well, still, congratulations on the podium. How many podiums is this for you this season?
This is my 3rd, I believe. First podium interview, though, because the other 2 podiums, I don't think we were doing interviews. I don't know if there's a live stream going for that or not. I got, what was it, 2nd at Daytona, and I crossed the line 2nd at Mount Panorama, but because Roses got a pit lane penalty in that race, I ended up getting the win there.
Got it. Well, welcome to the interview room. It looks like your room wherever you raced. But I promise you it's the interview room. I hope to see you again. We got 2 more races. Come back on and get to 5.
Oh yeah, for sure.
HPR, you are no stranger to the podium. Congratulations on 2nd place. Yo, your race was crazy. I think you had the highest stakes out of anybody here in this race. You had to finish towards the top because you're having this fight with Roses. But obviously Roses fell out of the race very early on, so all you had to do was keep positions. Tell me about your strategy. Your fuel was crazy. What was the plan?
Actually, okay, all right. I know when I was in the front, I didn't expect that I was in the in the first row because there is two racer is absent. Is it?
Yes.
Yeah. So at the moment, I was like thinking that I must push to P1 at the beginning of the lap. So try to push away using the soft tires. I was actually saving fuel, and then I was using a lot of mechanical grip to pull away as fast as possible. But it was a cat. It was a cat and mouse catching each other like the truth serum.
Yes.
I was like 4 seconds, and then the second lap 3 seconds, and then another lap is about 5 seconds, and then another 4 seconds. I was like, oh my god, he's chasing me a lot of time. Even I was a distance away, but I feel the pressure actually. So the first plan was I was going soft for a very long until 47 minutes something, and then go to the pit for medium tires, and then refuel. I think less than anybody else here.
Yeah, you did.
Uh,
I think you
when I
refueled for
was coming out from the
89%.
when I coming out for the pits, I was like around 12 seconds in front of the truth. So I was like, okay, let's play again. And then this track actually is not the best of my list, not my favorite track actually, because the chicane is quite dangerous and also can kill me anytime.
Yes, the chicane is crazy.
Uh
It
yes,
feels like the
I think
chicane at Dragon Trail in that it's very random if you're gonna make it or not.
yes, I think the True and Rusty did see my mistake, not mistake lah. I think is my weakness there, so they are chasing me there actually all the time. So I was quite pressured that time, and then I was like, I just focus on the line, so don't do any mistakes. And then on the last few laps, I was like about 5 laps, remaining few, so I was pushed crazy like hell, rev all the way to the up, and then try to chase back the truth. But in the end, he still have the upper hand.
Yeah, I noticed you were getting very close to him, and then the
Yes.
last two laps, I don't know what happened. You fell off and you couldn't get within 1.9, 1.8 seconds again.
Yeah.
Your fuel strategy was insane though. I mean, I did notice towards the end of the first stint, yes, the truth was catching up, and then the gap stayed steady. And then
Yes.
the pit stops, you came in with more fuel than anyone else. You had 11% fuel left. You
Mm-hmm.
left only taking 89% fuel, so you more than doubled the gap coming out of the pits. And I was like, this guy's a genius.
actually,
And then it was just
actually
a
not
matter
not
of,
really.
huh?
Actually, it's not really genius because the game itself have a advantage on this. Whenever you try to short shift earlier, and then you're using a lot of a lot of grip of the tires, and
Yes.
then the fuel will save for you like maybe a few percent. I was revving only quarter, not in the
Wow.
not even the half rev.
Wow. A quarter. And you still
Yes.
kept that gap. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well done. Really well done. I was watching to see how quickly the truth would catch up to you. You made that gap come down so slowly. Normally, most people get caught within the first 2 minutes
Yeah.
coming out of the pits, but you held on, or less, the first 10 minutes rather. You held on, and then managed to defend against the truth, make him use those tires up a little bit. I wasn't enough though, unfortunately.
Yeah. There was
Um,
2 laps actually quite intense.
2 laps, yeah, and I was like, if he can
Yeah.
hold him for 3 or 4 laps, he's gonna eat up the tires and he'll have a chance at the end of the stint.
Mm,
You got a chance, it just wasn't a good enough one. But congratulations
yeah.
again, fantastic race. You put on a clinic. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Congrats to the truth.
The truth, first win.
Yeah, pretty excited about it.
You don't sound pretty. Can you start? Can you try that again? Can you tell me
So
you're excited again?
pretty. Yeah, that's funny. Pretty excited about it. I'm just emotionally exhausted, I guess.
Ooh, I could see that. I'm sure your heart was pumping for a long, long time, over time. You're probably sweatier than Rusty is. Um,
Yeah, Well, the only reason I'm not is because I dressed appropriately. I made the mistake of wearing too much clothes during these races, and then you're sweating, and then you have to sit there.
Yes, it's definitely tank top and shorts activity for sure, regardless of what the weather is outside. Tell me about your race. It was, outside of having to pass HPR, it was like pretty typical truth, just quiet, unassuming, and then boom, top 5, top 3, something.
Yeah, I put in a lot of practice this week, but I do that every week, so that's not unusual. But I I had a particular strategy, and in the first stint, like at the beginning, I got a really good start. I think I had Venom or somebody in front of me, but I got the jump on him, so I was able to like make a position there, quickly get through the pack, and which was great because we have such clean racers, so you can kind of like figure out what to do and not worry that people are going to do stupid or dirty things. So I
Yeah,
appreciate that.
this is a
Um,
great division for clean racing.
yeah, absolutely. And then so once I got behind HP, so it was like okay, um, I just got to try to stay with him because I knew he was on softs and I was on mediums. Um, but I also had to be mindful of the fuel and all that. And my initial strategy was to go 26 laps on my mediums, but somehow I got caught up in the hypnosis of chasing HP and I screwed that up. So I had to pit
Uh-oh.
because I didn't have enough to do 26. On medium, so then I just switched modes and went into the 26 on softs mode, pitted.
Got it.
Yeah, pitted. And then so I just adjusted my shifting. And it's funny to hear like from HP, like after the fact what he was thinking because I was on the mic with Rusty, right? Because he's my teammate, and I'm saying like I think I even said like this is like a game of cat and mouse. Like I got to stay close enough that he feels some pressure because he's looking at the differential and he's got softs. He's trying to pull away, but he can't. So I would like use some gas just to get a couple seconds down, and then I would go back to normal, and he would get the 2 seconds back. I was just kind of playing with him.
Right.
So it's funny that he noticed that, right? So anyway, eventually caught him, um, up to him, and then we had this pretty stressful battle for a couple of laps. And the first time I tried to chuck it in the bus stop chicane, I didn't have my radar on. I didn't have my radar on. I had my gas on, and midway through the chicane, I'm like, I don't know where he is. I have to back out.
Yeah.
Then I had my radar on because I knew okay, I'm going to try that again next lap if I can get a run. So then I did, and I don't think I got him there, or I forget where I got him anyway, but I got him
In
somewhere.
fact, you seemed to back off even harder that second time, but I think that was just maybe an overcorrection on your part.
It's a terrible place to try to overtake for me anyway.
Oh, it's
So
such a dangerous part of the track. Yeah, it's usually not worth it.
yeah, so eventually I got him, and then the thing was, it was all like differentials because, like Rusty was saying, like at this point we know our opponents really well. So I knew that HP, you don't really know what's going on. Like I was like, I bet he's saving fuel. He's going to have a stockpile. He's going to come after me. I need to get away. But then I was saving fuel a little bit more than normal. I was shifting at 50, but usually I shifted around 60.
Mm.
So that's why at the end you saw him make a big push because he was revving it out and charging like a madman.
Right, right. Wow,
The
insane.
whole thing was very entertaining and stressful if you're driving in it.
Right, I miss it. I love racing. I hope to race in the Porsche Cup because this stuff is fun for me too, right? Not only as a commentator, but as a racer. To see if you can hold up to the pressure. You obviously held up to the pressure very well. Congratulations on the win. This not your first podium though, right?
No, this is my third podium, and yeah, I guess like Rusty said, like I didn't align with the interviews. Like I think I had a third at Daytona and a second at Autopolis. But then yeah, this is my first win, and like when you win in this division, it actually means something because the drivers are so excellent that it's like you accomplished something. So it's really great.
Definitely. It's close racing. You've got good strategists. You've got just people who are straight up fast. It really is. It does mean something. Thank you for putting on a great race. Thank you to all three of you, actually, because you were the only battle, really, after a while. There'd been a little bit of stuff around for fifth place, but something always happened. You three were the only consistent, like, story in the race, and it was fantastic to watch.
Yeah, and congratulations to HP and Rusty as well.
Yes, congratulations.
All right, thank you, thank you.
Yeah, congrats, guys.
Thanks,
Bye.
y'all. I will talk to you later.
Okay, ciao.
Yeah,
Bye now.
later.
All right, y'all. That's it for the race. This was, again, an amazing, amazing race. A great finish by those three drivers. We have 2 more races in the season left. And now the race for first is incredibly close. This is what it looked like before this race. Roses and HPR 15 points away from one another. They swapped places after the drop round because Rose's drop round was a race where he wasn't in. But this time, this race acts almost as a race that he's not in also, because he fell to last place so quickly and then ended up leaving the race. I'm just not sure if he's going to pick up any points. Whether he does or doesn't, it puts these two within 5 points of one another again. As we come into the last 2 races of the season, I just can't wait. Can we get to next week already? Like, are we there? Are we there? 2 more races. We're almost done. November 5th, next Saturday, we're going to be at High Speed Ring. Fun cars, fun track in the G70, the GT4 car. And then we end the season at Fuji in the GT3 BRZ GT300, a Super GT car. Perfect for Fuji. Race time is 8:30 p.m. Eastern. However, like I say every week, we have a map here where you can see the time that it starts for you, so you have no excuse and you cannot miss it. We will see you next week. Thank you for being fans. Thank you for being part of our audience. Good night.